You could almost feel the collective pause across living rooms when those pictures surfaced. Kat Deeley, stepping out in New York or wherever the moment happened, caught in a frame where her usual professional poise gave way to something warmer, more unguarded. A smile she simply couldn't hide. After the heartbreak of her split from Patrick Kielty, here was a glimpse of a woman who looked lighter. Not triumphant in a flashy way, but quietly alive to possibility again. And for anyone who's followed her journey on This Morning and beyond, it landed with a surprising emotional weight. Let's be honest with ourselves for a second. When Kat and Patrick announced their separation last summer, it genuinely stung for a lot of us. They'd built this image of a blended, modern family life. 2 kids, transatlantic roots, careers that kept them busy but seemingly connected. Patrick with his charm and stand-up energy, Kat with that effortless warmth she brings to breakfast television. Many viewers noticed how she carried herself on air in the months that followed, composed, focused on the job and the boys, but with those subtle shifts in her eyes that hinted at private storms. There was a quiet resilience there that made people root for her even harder. Now, fast forward nearly a year, and reports suggest she's open to seeing what's out there. Not rushing, not broadcasting it, but allowing a little light back in. And then this sighting with a movie executive. Nothing confirmed, of course, and we have to respect that these are early, private steps. But the images, or the descriptions, showed Kat unable to suppress that genuine, sparkling smile. It wasn't the polished presenter smile we see on This Morning. It felt personal. The kind that reaches the eyes and lingers because, in that moment, something felt right. You could almost picture the scene. Maybe a low-key dinner after meetings in a city that moves fast, the kind of place where Hollywood and media worlds brush shoulders without fanfare. A conversation that flows easily because they share an understanding of the industry's strange rhythms, the early calls, the travel, the pressure to stay on even when life off-camera is shifting. Many people watching these stories unfold felt a quiet sense of relief for her. After co-parenting through what must have been an incredibly difficult transition, after prioritizing the children and her return to This Morning, seeing even a flicker of joy like that resonates. It reminds us that moving forward doesn't mean forgetting what came before. It just means making space for what might come next. Think about Kat's journey for a moment. From her SMTV Live days with Ant and December, that infectious energy that made her a household name, to building a life in Los Angeles, to returning to the UK and stepping into one of the biggest seats in British television. Her chemistry with Ben Shepherd on This Morning has been a bright spot for viewers navigating their own mornings. There's something deeply relatable in watching a woman who has given so much on screen now navigate real-life chapters with grace. The split was handled with such dignity, no public mudslinging, just a joint statement focused on the kids. That maturity set the tone, and audiences responded with respect. Yet, the human side tugs at you. Patrick's romantic gesture years ago, flying across the ocean for a birthday lunch, had that Richard Curtis magic that made their story feel destined. When it ended, it almost seemed as though the distance that once brought them together had quietly grown between them. Career demands, different schedules, the weight of family life. Some audiences began wondering whether the demands of This Morning and his commitments in Ireland simply pulled them in opposite directions over time. While nothing has been confirmed about the specifics, the emotional undercurrent was clear. 2 people who loved, built a family, and chose to part with kindness. And now, this glimpse of Kat smiling on what sounds like a date. It's the kind of moment that sparks conversation because it taps into something universal. How do you rediscover yourself after a long chapter closes? For many viewers, especially women in their 40s and beyond who've juggled careers and motherhood, it felt quietly empowering. Not a fairy tale rebound, but a real woman allowing herself to enjoy a conversation, a shared laugh, the company of someone who gets the world she moves in. The movie executive angle adds that touch of glamour without tipping into fantasy, someone who understands deadlines, creativity, the pull of storytelling. It almost seemed as though that smile was permission. Permission to feel excited again without pressure. There's a television psychology to moments like this too. We project so much onto our favorite presenters because they enter our homes daily. Kat's warmth on screen has always felt authentic, never forced. When she lights up during interviews or shares light-hearted anecdotes, you believe it. So when public glimpses show that same light returning in her personal life, it lands emotionally. Viewers online interpreted the exchange, or the captured smile, as a sign she's healing. Others felt a pang of protectiveness, hoping the spotlight doesn't make things harder. That balance is tricky in this era of constant visibility. What struck me most, reflecting on it, is how Kat has always embodied a certain British resilience mixed with Hollywood polish. She's the presenter who can handle live TV chaos with a laugh, who's spoken openly about family life in measured ways. This new chapter, whatever shape it takes, feels like an extension of that. Not defined by the split, but not ignoring it either. The possibility that she might explore dating apps like Raya one day, or simply let organic connections happen, speaks to someone who knows her worth and isn't rushing to fill a void. It has to feel right. And in that particular captured moment, it looked like it might. Of course, we're all piecing this together from afar. There's a possibility that it was simply a friendly professional meeting that sparked joy because good company after tough times feels restorative. But the inability to hide the smile? That's what made it human. In a world of curated posts and filtered perfection, an unguarded expression cuts through. It invites us to reflect on our own stories of endings and new beginnings. How laughter returns when you least expect it. How confidence rebuilds in small, private victories. The atmosphere around Kat's public image has shifted subtly since the separation. She seems more focused, perhaps more present in her own narrative. Fans have commented on her glow-up, her dedication to the boys, and her continued warmth on television. Moments like this sighting add another layer, not scandal, but story. A reminder that even beloved figures experience the full spectrum of life. Love, loss, parenting through change, and yes, the tentative thrill of what comes after. And perhaps that's why it stayed with so many of us. In the grand theater of television and celebrity, we crave these authentic beats. Not because we want gossip, but because they mirror our own quiet hopes. That after the hardest chapters, joy can still surprise you. That a smile, caught in a single frame, can speak volumes about resilience and renewal. What do you think? Did that image of Kat's smile strike you the same way? Did it feel like a hopeful turning point, or simply a woman enjoying an evening? Share your thoughts below, whether you've followed her from the early days or connected with her this morning energy more recently. These conversations matter because, at the end of the day, Kat Deeley isn't just a presenter. She's someone who's let us into her mornings for years, and now, in her own way, she's reminding us that brighter ones can still lie ahead. Even if it starts with a smile she just couldn't hide.